Good morning, YouTube. I've got a goodie for you today, brought to you by the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. If you've been in my streams at all over the past few months, you've probably heard me mention that I'm saving up for a house. And the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you lower bills, cancel subscriptions, and manage your money better. I'm personally using Rocket Money to set budgets. This way I can analyze my spending habits and create a custom budget that works for my lifestyle. It automatically monitors your spending habits by category and gives you a notification if you've exceeded your limits. Rocket Money also found that I was paying for an extra streaming service that I wasn't aware of that I had thought I had canceled, and I was able to cancel it through the Rocket Money app. If you want to save more and spend less, join over the 5 million members who are using Rocket Money today, right now, by using the link in the description below, or by going over to rocketmoney.com/flats to get started for free now. Rocket Money has helped save its customers up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. You can also unlock even more features with premium, but you can start for free right now by going down and clicking on my link down in the description below. Thanks so much to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video, and as always, I'll see you again tomorrow. All right, chat. It's been a long time. I haven't done one of these in quite a while, and I don't think I've actually done a stadium tier list yet. So I've played a good amount of Overwatch recently, especially Stadium, but I wanted to wait for Freya because I was kind of late to the tier list game first half of the season. So I figured I'd wait till Freya got added, and also they just did so many balance updates. Like, they've been doing so many balance updates over time, so figured, why not? First up, D.Va. I kind of don't want to do D.Va first, but I'm gonna do D.Va first just because she's already first in line. But I need you to lock in and listen to me for half a second. And the way I typically do this is like based on my own perspective / PC. And so this is one of the few times I'm going to give you like a little asterisk where if it's console, it's something different for you. D.Va is solid. Very, very solid now. They gave her a good amount of buffs again, so she's much better. However, though, apparently on console, D.Va's like far and away the best tank in the game. And it's not even close. So if you're a console player, this is like an S tier. D.Va, though, was pretty weak, like arguably probably the weakest tank in Stadium. But I think that after the buffs, she's quite a bit better. D.Va is apparently far and away the best tank, win rate wise and pick rate wise on console. But on PC, like, she's okay. Queen. Okay, you know, it's funny. I actually don't think there's a best tank anymore in Stadium. I think there's like a tie, depending on where you're at and what rank you're playing in. Like, for example, high rank Zarya can go absolutely bananas, but also like Rein was the highest win rate tank in Stadium across all tiers for a while. So it's a bit interesting on this one, but I think Queen is part of the trifecta of the better tanks in Stadium. Her shout build is kind of busted. If you haven't seen the shout build, I think I have a video on it on my main channel. Basically, the idea is every time you get a kill, you get your shout reset, and then you combine that with the wounding shout, where if they are near you and you shout, you wound them, and then you get the 50% increased shout range. So every time you shout, you wound everyone on the enemy team, so you're healing from that, and they're all taking damage. So if anyone on your team gets a kill while they're bleeding, you get a reset, and as long as one person dies, you're off to the races. Like, you just start steamrolling. The thing is, though, you have to get a kill. If you don't get a kill, you get shit on. That's the hard part. But if you can't get a kill, then you probably didn't deserve to win at that point. That's just kind of how it is. Orisa. I think Orisa is very, very fucking annoying. I don't think she's, like, good, per se. She's just good at being a fucking asshole. Like, that's it. You just go hardcore survival build, and you just bully the other tank or whoever's near you, and give enough time for your DPS to kill theirs. That's all you do. It's kind of stupid, which is odd that you would hope in Stadium you'd get new play styles and new ways to like play characters, but it's just genuinely normal Orisa. Rein. All right, so if you didn't see the mid-season patch, Rein got actually pretty heavy-handedly nerfed. Pause. However, I think they accidentally actually buffed Rein. Now, hear me out. Last night, I was playing a lot of Stadium, and I was trying to have fun because I was like 17 hours deep into a stream, so I wanted to do the flying build, which, by the way, I think I hit an all-timer generational clip. You haven't seen that yet? Go find it. Anyways, that poor Mercy. Regardless, though, what they did is they really nerfed his swing build, like the left click, like swing on the other tank build. But there's one thing that they did. They nerfed the stacks and how much they stop, like how much they keep you from self-healing and damage resistance and speed boost, but they changed it from maxing at 5 stacks to 10 stacks. What ends up happening actually is earlier in the fights, you're squishier, but the longer you keep swinging on the enemy team, you actually get stronger. And so it's nerfed up front, yeah, and has a much stronger back end. As long as your Ryan can survive like for 2 or 3 seconds of swinging without exploding, you actually kind of are stronger than you were before. It's very strange. There is this weird phenomenon with Stadium though, where everyone just kind of all-ins one thing, and I don't really like that as much. I'm kind of hoping, because they've been nerfing everything into the ground, I hope that the charge build gets a little bit of a buff, because like the charge Ryan builds are actually arguably, in my opinion, the most fun, and they're the weakest. Like Fire Strike's way better, Swing is way better, so I hope to see some of the goofy builds be slightly better. I think it'd be cool. Zarya is the other of the 3 trifecta, where I think you got the 3 best characters or for the tank role that are all together. Zarya in the lower ranks of Stadium, like you either shit stomp by just mechanically running over whatever everyone, or you get shit stomped because you just aren't tanky enough. So people try to go like all in on a weapon build, and then their team just like all shoots the tank and you just die. Once you get back up to the really high ranks though, and everyone's kind of playing together and you don't take as much damage, Zarya goes back to like hard carrying again, which is kind of strange, but like it's weird. Like, you ever seen that curve where it's like the stupid end and the really smart end agree, but everyone in the middle is like, ugh. Like in the middle, Zarya is like not great, but at the low end, Zarya is insane, and at the high end, Zarya is insane. Does that make sense? All right, Ashe. Ashe, I think, is possibly the most slept on character in Stadium at this point. However, she is definitely one of the weaker, like on average. What makes Ashe so good is her insane burn / mini bob build. So basically the way this works is mini bob can last long, like is like 20 seconds long, unless you kill him. I had a game where they had an Ashe build with Bob, where they bobbed 3 or 4 seconds later, I popped Valk. My entire Valk went through the 15 seconds. My Valk ended, I turned the corner, I died to Bob. He was still there. He was sitting there for like 20 full seconds, just looking around. So Ashe, really, really good in the right hands. Otherwise, shit. I see most people complaining. They're like, Ashe is not good. Ashe is not good. No, Ashe can be good, but I think she's arguably the hardest to use. Our first S tier, Cassidy. I gave this a little bit in my patch notes review, but I'm a little nervous with the way they're going about Stadium and balance stuff a little bit, because I like the goofiness, I like the fun, but like they've nerfed a lot of the funny builds. They nerfed like Baby Diva into the ground. They've nerfed Queen a good amount. They've nerfed Ryan multiple times. They nerfed Maze colder. They nerfed Juno. They've nerfed Lucio. But like, why is Cass's all-in weapon build still like untouched? You just right click. You just get right click build. Like if you play Ryan or Orisa into Cass, they just go full right click build, go armor ignore, and the extra chance to get a bullet back if you shoot a shield, like 50% chance to get a bullet back if you hit a shield, and you just delete them. You just literally go full right click, 12 bullets, roll, full 12 bullets, 24 bullets into your fucking chest, and you just fall over. It's ass. And then, let's say you're not running one of those characters, say you're running Queen, right? Queen versus Cass kind of already is a little bit of a not great matchup in the base game. And then if you even hit something better like Diva, you just get poked out really hard. Like Cass is just really good with both versions, his left click and his right click. He's just insane. So much so that you actually typically take the powers for roll. So you have like invulnerability on roll, you have like self-healing / like further roll distance, and then you go all in on weapon power, and it's just boring. It's genuinely, I think, the most boring build, or most boring build in the game. Soldier might have been more boring with the visor, because it was auto aim, but Cass is a pretty close second. And he's the best. It's still really early. It's only been a day, but Freya is insane. There's 2 versions of Freya that I think are the best. One, all-in weapon power, which is you just go all in on exploding people with your bolts. However, though, there was a bug yesterday where the Pierce was apparently killing Zarya through bubbles, where you could just headshot Zarya through bubble and just insta-kill her. So they had to take that out. But there was even there's a backup version, which is the ult. And I think I actually had a video that went out today. Yeah, this one out today. I think I was playing against like the Warren Frogger Aspen 3 stack, and I was trying that build for the first time, and it was insanely strong. Yeah, the Bola build for Freya is actually insanely strong, and it's fun. I think she's gonna be a demon though. Anyways, Genji. Genji's really strong, but not OP. I think I want to throw Genji in the A tier. Like, solid pick. There's multiple routes you can go. If you don't have a Genji versus Cass, you're kind of in a little bit of trouble, actually. You kind of need him. The Blade build's really good. The Swift Strike build's really good. I haven't really seen anyone use Shuriken builds, TBH. It's mostly just Dash or Blade or Reflect. Melee build? I haven't seen a melee build, actually. But he does have a lot of different things you can play, and they all work pretty well, so he's pretty fun. I like him. Mei definitely got kicked down the ladder a little bit. Can I be real with you? I understand why they nerfed Colder, right? I get it. It was ass to play against. I'm not complaining. But like, without Colder, Mei's kind of boring. She's like not very strong. Or sorry, not very strong. She's not as strong, and she's kind of boring. Like, there's nothing to do. Like, you put Blizzard on the wall, I guess. That was like the one thing I thought that really made her fun. Weapon power is fun. What, for Icicle or for Freeze? Because for Freeze, the game just moves too quick to really be useful. Like, other than just sitting there and shooting the tank. And it's like, that's just boring gameplay, just sitting there and shooting the tank the entire time. Icicle machine gun build, I don't know if I've seen it. I honestly, what I want to see them do is I want to see the items get better. Like, the items you can buy. I want to see them like be more transformative. I want to see you be able to do more wacky shit. I think the weapon power or the weapon items that you can buy that are actually like unique to each character are probably some of the most fun. Reaper. I think Reaper's fallen off a little bit. They nerfed his cash, and that was like the one thing that made him really good was he was always ahead of everybody on money. So he always had like slightly better items. And now that he's like more in line, you kind of get fucked on. Like if you don't do really well the first round or two on Reaper, you fall behind so fast in scaling. And like, what even is a good Reaper build anymore? AP TP in build? I don't even think that's good. All in left click chase people down? I mean, I guess, but I mean, there's other things that are better at it. I don't think he's like bad per se, but just not really that good. And last but not least, Soldier. I think Soldier fell off. I didn't see Soldier almost at all yesterday. They nerfed his Visor build, and then they nerfed his at mid-season. They nerfed his rocket build, the Helix rocket build. So this could actually be more to see, but I don't think I even saw one yesterday. You know what? I am gonna do it. I'm putting him in C. I think he's fallen off. I think he fell off. So yeah, Freya's just 10 times better. Cass is just 10 times better. At least with Mei and Reaper, you have like a goal of fucking the other tank's day up. And with Genji, you have much more mobility. You can actually play like hard dive. Yeah, this might be a hot take. This right here is a bit of a hot take. I think after yesterday, I think it's bad. I think he might have fell off. Last but not least, supports. Ana. This might be a bit of a hot take. I really have come to have disdain for the DPS support playstyle through Stadium. Because if you're playing tank and it's a sweaty game, and you get both your supports all ending on DPS builds, you are gonna have the worst day ever. It's ass. It is so shit. Because you have the DPS Ana with 3,000 damage and 600 healing, and you're in spawn the entire round. And then you have the Torpedo build Juno player who has like 2,200 damage, 1,600 healing. And that's the only person who heals you, and you know what? It's half the time by accident. I know it's a fun build. I've played it. It's almost like an exasperated version of the 5v5 problem as tank, right? Where you feel like you have those games where theoretically you have two supports to one tank. The tank should be getting tons of healing, right? But that's not actually how it works in practice. In practice, it ends up being both the supports look at each other and go, you get it. And then they both go the opposite direction. It kind of blows a little bit when that happens. But the thing is with Ana specifically is unless you're going nano build or DPS build, she's not that good. Juno. I'm just not even gonna fuck around. I think Juno's probably still the best support in Stadium. They nerfed her torpedo build, but there's like a new one you can do too, where it's like you do unlimited flight Juno build, and apparently some people have done like a tank build with it, where you do unlimited flight tank build, and you just like can't die. I haven't personally tried it yet, but I did try the unlimited flight, and it was kind of crazy. And I did the unlimited flight with the torpedo build, and it just like you're just playing Star Wars the entire time. Speed boost is super valuable, arguably more valuable in this game mode than in the base game, because like getting there first actually means a ton because there's only like 2 or 3 fights. Glorbit, her ult is probably the slowest charging support ult, but it's still really impactful. And her just macro in between the middle of the rounds is just so good, like just better than everyone else. And you can do DPS and healing. And, you know, even if someone's going the DPS build, you'll at least get a little bit of healing from the Juno. So I'm cool with it. Kiri. Kiri's really good, although there's definitely increased value on the Tuzu build. Tuzu is just by far and away the best build. And the worst part, though, is if you are playing certain characters and you bump into this diabolical combo of Zarya Kiri or Diva Kiri, and which then you know, or even like Moira Kiri, Zarya, right? Where you just know at no point you're ever going to hit anything. Like, try to pin, nope. Fire Strike, gonna get eaten, bubbled. Junker Queen Carnage, Suzu'd, bubbled. Knife, bubbled. Orisa Spear, bubbled. Suzu'd. You are just gonna do absolutely fuck all. And Kiri is one of those characters that I think is probably one of the most frustrating to have in the lobby. Like a good Kiri is one of the most frustrating, because let's say you're playing Junker Queen, and you know how I talked about how the bleed build, right? The bleed build basically is like about running in and getting like one kill and then starting the steamroll. Well, you hit the shout, everyone starts bleeding, and then you go for your first Carnage, Suzu, and everyone's bleed stops. You give the Kiri like 45 ult charge because they get 5% ult charge off of each effect they've cleansed. So if everyone's standing together, you pop your shout, you get 5 people bleeding. You go for the Carnage on somebody, Suzu'd, she gets 45 ult charge. And guess what? You got nothing. You lost your shout and you lost your Carnage. That's okay though. You're running double Carnage. So you go for the second one, Suzu'd again. And that's without Zarya. That's without Orisa being in the picture, Diva being in the picture. Or if they have a Lucio booping you away. Or Mei, right? Oh my god, the most evil one is Zarya, Mei, Kiri, Cass, and then Lucio, you aren't playing the game. If you're playing tank, you just don't have fun. You just don't play the game. It's ass. Lucio, I think they kind of nuked Lucio a little bit too much. I don't think he's like bad by any means, but they kind of took away a lot of his power. Like his healing build's really not that good anymore. It's like really bad. So I guess maybe you go the DPS Lucio playstyle, but it's like not that useful. And also the maps are like very tight. So like you don't have as many flanking potentials. Him and Juno are crazy together. Well, yeah, I mean, not wrong, but I don't know if I'd say crazy. There's better combos. The only thing that is crazy about it is like you have the double speed and you'll always get to the fight first, and that's really valuable. But Lucio that's mostly because just Juno's insane. Like Juno just allows Lucio to get pushed even further because you just use your speed boost out of spawn or your ring out of spawn, and then you speed boost halfway there, and you're gonna be there before them, so it's valuable. But like Lucio on his own is just kind of. Mercy. You know, I think Mercy's arguably one of the most fun characters in Stadium. Hot take. You can do everything. You can go super Valk build, you can go tank build, healing build, damage boost build, DPS build. Like they kind of cooked. They kind of cooked with Mercy. I would say arguably Mercy's one of the best supports for Stadium. And it's nice. You know what? I actually like having Mercies on my team in Stadium. You know why? Because they understand that the other f***er that they're playing with is probably on a DPS build, and I get a little healing every once in a while, and it doesn't get eaten by Diva. It's nice. You know, I know they should be damage boosting a lot, but like they just feel bad. At some point, they start to feel a little bit bad for you, and they're like, ah, shit, okay, I'll give you a little help, you know, and you're like, oh, thanks, appreciate you. So it's nice. That being said, though, she also breaks Freya and Cass, so. So you might notice a trend here. Best DPS, arguably, potentially second best DPS, one that enables the two. See where I'm going with this? First round of the game, Freya Mercy boost, instant win. If you have a Freya and a Mercy, you probably win the first round every single time. If you don't have those two, you're probably getting cooked. Moira. So apparently Moira had one of the highest win rates for support. I think it was like second highest behind Juno. I think Moira's sort of slept on. I think she's better than people realize. However, she falls off hard late game. You have to win early with Moira, because Moira gets a lot of cash, and if you don't get the cash early on and you don't snowball quick, once you get to rounds 5, 6, 7, you fall off a fucking cliff. Again though, the nice thing about the Moiras is even though they're going DPS AP builds a lot of the time, they get the triple orb, and so you'll get at least a 50% healing orb, and so you get a little healing, which is nice. So yeah, even though the support players typically like to go the damage build and play DPS support, Moira is one of those ones that does both just by existing. So I kind of like having it. I think it's valuable in all ways. Chad, this might be a record for the shortest tier list ever. I mean, it's only like half the roster. I feel pretty confident with this one. I think this is a good tier list. I think it's a good one. Shortest tier list ever for Overwatch. This was for Stadium. Also, if you skip to the end just to see what it looks like, motherfucker, go back, because there's a few on here that are like slightly different because of like console and stuff. So get your ass back there, bitch.